Granny's lifelong ambition, the challenge of the buggy race. In the rich tapestry of the Beverly Hillbillies, few character motivations burn with the sustained intensity of Granny's lifelong ambition to win a single decisive buggy race. The composite script under examination moves with seamless grace from the parlor absurdity of Lady Belle into the deeper emotional territory of this long-nurtured desire, and in doing so it reveals one of the series' most affecting and comically fertile themes, the persistence of memory pride and unfinished business across decades and across continents of social change. What begins as a neighborly impulse to share the pleasure of a horse and buggy quickly becomes a high-stakes contest freighted with 30 years of personal history, and the resulting sequences stand among the finest examples of character-driven comedy the program ever produced. The idea emerges with characteristic Clampett generosity. After the harrowing buggy ride that left Mr. Drysdale white-knuckled and trembling, Jed reflects on the experience with his customary mild optimism. The suggestion that the Drysdales might themselves enjoy the benefits of a horse and buggy is met with Granny's immediate and enthusiastic endorsement. "Ted, why don't we give the Drysdales a horse and buggy as a present?" she proposes. And the line is delivered with the bright sincerity of a woman who sees only the neighborly virtue of the gesture. Yet, beneath the surface generosity lies a secondary calculation that the script allows to surface with delicious clarity. "And it's the only way I can make sure that she don't get a faster rig than mine." The admission is pure Granny practical, competitive, and entirely without shame. Irene Ryan invests the line with a spark of triumphant cunning that transforms an act of apparent altruism into the opening move of a carefully considered campaign. The deeper roots of this ambition are soon laid bare in one of the most poignant speeches the character has ever given. Confronted by Jed's gentle disapproval of the inferior horse she has chosen for Mrs. Drysdale, Granny drops the playful tone and speaks from the heart of long experience. "Back home, Melvina Bradshaw beat me every Sunday for 30 years. I'm an old woman, Jed, and before I go to my reward, I'd like to win one buggy race." The simplicity of the declaration is devastating. In a few plain sentences, the script opens a window onto decades of weekly humiliation of dusty roads and determined competitors of a pride that has never fully healed. The name Melvina Bradshaw carries the weight of an entire vanished world. She is not merely a former rival, she is the living embodiment of every race Granny did not win, every Sunday that ended in second place. The desire to claim a single victory before the end of her days is not presented as vanity. It is presented as a matter of personal dignity, and the audience is invited to respect it even as they smile at the comic lengths to which it will drive her. Jed's response is a perfect distillation of the character's moral philosophy. "Listen, the most important part, it ain't that you win or lose but how you play the game." The line is spoken with the quiet authority of a man who has lived by that creed, yet Granny's reply cuts through the well-meant wisdom with the sharp realism of age. "That's all right for him, but at my age I gotta take my wins any way I can get 'em." The exchange is among the most beautifully balanced in the entire series. Buddy Ebsen's Jed embodies the idealized values of fair play and sportsmanship, while Irene Ryan's Granny gives voice to the more complicated truth that time is finite and some scores remain unsettled. Neither position is ridiculed. Both are allowed to stand in honest tension, and the comedy that follows grows organically from that unresolved conflict. The practical implementation of Granny's plan provides a wealth of comic opportunity. The horse she has acquired for Mrs. Drysdale is quickly revealed to be a sorry specimen. Jethro's clinical inventory of its teeth, one upper one lower, is delivered with the cheerful literalism that was Max Baer Jr.'s specialty, and Granny's irritated response only underscores the animal's inadequacy. "Nobody asked you to count." The horse, later christened Lightning and known at the stable as Old Gluepot, becomes a walking embodiment of Granny's willingness to bend the rules in pursuit of her long-deferred victory. When Jed urges her to return the animal and obtain a more suitable mount, her defense is both practical and revealing. The buggy cost $175, the horse was included free of charge. In Granny's economy of desire, the bargain is too good to abandon. Mr. Drysdale's reaction to the gift is a study in controlled panic. Presented with the second-rate horse and the shiny buggy, he attempts every polite avenue of refusal only to find himself outmaneuvered by Granny's relentless logic. "I'm gonna give you that champion horse. Well, what for pull that buggy? I'm gonna throw that in too. The banker's protests that he has no use for such things are swept aside by Granny's insistence that the gift is really for Margaret. The mention of Mrs. Drysdale's name introduces a new and more dangerous element into the negotiation. What had been a simple matter of returning an unwanted present becomes a potential public spectacle, and Mr. Drysdale's alarm is immediate and justified. The subsequent conversation between the Drysdales is one of the series' sharpest examinations of marital power and social anxiety. Mrs. Drysdale's refusal is absolute. "Me race with Granny in a buggy in public, you must be demented." The line is delivered with the full aristocratic frost that Harriet McGibbon brought to the role, yet Mr. Drysdale's desperation drives him to bargaining. "Please do this for me. I'm begging you." The exchange that follows is a masterpiece of comic negotiation. Mrs. Drysdale names her price with cold precision. She will race if her husband will permanently remove the Clampetts from Beverly Hills. The demand is both outrageous and entirely in character. For 4 years she has petitioned for the expulsion of the newcomers. Now she sees an opportunity to link that long-standing desire to her husband's immediate need. Mr. Drysdale's inability to meet the condition produces one of the most satisfying exits in the script. Margaret sweeps out, leaving her husband to confront the full consequences of his earlier enthusiasm for the horse. The reversal when it comes is pure Drysdale pragmatism. Confronted with the loss of both the race and his domestic peace, he capitulates. Margaret, come back. I'll meet your price." The new terms are carefully crafted to preserve his own interests. If she races and wins, he will arrange for the Clampetts to leave. The promise is reckless, yet it is also characteristic. Mr. Drysdale has always believed that money and influence can solve any problem the Clampetts create. That belief is about to be tested in the most public manner possible. The preparation for the race itself is filled with the kind of logistical comedy at which the series excelled. The image of lightning being transported in Miss Jane's convertible is inherently absurd, and Jethro's matter-of-fact explanation only heightens the humor. "That was the only way we could get that poor old thing over to the Drysdales." The physical difficulty of lifting the exhausted animal in and out of the car provides Max Baer Jr. with further opportunities for the broad, good-natured physical comedy that defined his performance. Meanwhile, Granny's private coaching of Lady Bell reveals the full extent of her competitive fire. She mixes special feed offers encouragement and prepares to accept the blame should anyone question the fairness of the contest. The fact that she is at that very moment in possession of the superior horse while her rival has been given the inferior one is a moral complication the script allows to sit in plain view. Granny is not presented as a villain. She is presented as an old woman who has waited 30 years for a chance to win and is unwilling to let that chance slip away through excessive scrupulosity. The thematic depth of these sequences is considerable. At their center lies a meditation on aging unfinished business and the stories people carry with them across a lifetime. Granny's rivalry with Melvina Bradshaw is not merely a plot device. It is a window into a vanished rural world of weekly competitions, community scrutiny, and personal pride. In bringing that world into the manicured landscape of Beverly Hills, the script creates a powerful contrast between the enduring intensity of human ambition and the transient nature of social status. Mrs. Drysdale's horror at the prospect of a public buggy race is the horror of a woman who has built her identity on exclusivity and refinement. Granny's determination to race is the determination of a woman who has never separated her sense of self from the tangible contests of her youth. The collision of these two worldviews generates comedy of a particularly rich and resonant kind. Historically, the mid-1960s were years in which American popular culture was beginning to grapple more openly with questions of aging and generational change. The Beverly Hillbillies approached those questions with characteristic lightness of touch, yet the emotional honesty of Granny's ambition gives the comedy an undercurrent of genuine feeling. Irene Ryan, who was herself in her 60s during the series' run, invests the character with a vitality and specificity that prevent the ambition from becoming a mere joke. When Granny declares that she must take her wins any way she can get them, the line carries the authority of lived experience. As the stage is set for the race itself, The script has succeeded in transforming a simple sporting contest into a multi-layered drama of memory, pride, marriage and social anxiety. The yellow-wheeled buggy, once a secret gift prepared in the pre-dawn dark, has become the vehicle for a confrontation 30 years in the making. Lady Belle and Lightning stand ready as the instruments of that confrontation, and the audience, fully aware of the comic disasters that almost certainly await, is nevertheless invited to root for the old woman who has waited so long for a single Sunday of triumph. In that invitation lies the enduring magic of the series, the ability to make the audience care deeply about the outcome of a race that is on its surface the most ridiculous contest imaginable.